guess what? I'm not actually a robot, but we are here to talk about robot movies. Today, we're going to be starting with Ex Machina from 2015, right here on Mallard Matinee. That's right, it is Robot Month, so we're talking about two movies this month that have to deal with robots. Maybe they're not the main characters, but they're in the movies quite substantially. And before we get into our movie, we're going to be talking about Ex Machina. Before we get into that, we're going to introduce ourselves, starting with this guy to the right.
I am Lewis Lightning. I've actually never seen this movie. This is my first time watching it. I didn't even really hear about it until he suggested watching it. For this month. So I had no clue going in. But I did watch it now, and I'm ready to talk about it.
Ready to talk about it. So this is a movie that I'd seen soon after it came out. I didn't see it in theaters. I think it was back when it was on Netflix for the first time, and I watched it then. I quite enjoyed it, so I was like, yeah, maybe for our Robot Month, I could do a rewatch of Ex Machina, because there's some things that I kind of wanted to rewatch about to kind of see if I had a different perspective, and I do have a different perspective than I did the first time I watched it. But let's kind of get into the movie, I suppose, starting with, like we like to start with. Actually, I'll start with, first off, Alex Garland was the director. This is his first directorial debut movie, actually. So he had actually written a lot of movies. Like he did the 28 Days Later movies, 28 Years Later more recently. And he's also done like video games as well, like Enslaved Odyssey to the West, like a game that I've mentioned on our other channel before. And Dread, a movie that we both like. He's written that. So I thought it's interesting that a writer is getting to the director's chair and kind of seeing his take on things. But getting into the actors that are in this movie, starting with probably the most notable, the bigger name, I would say, as Oscar Isaac as Nathan. So what do you think of him?
Well, is this one of his earlier roles? Like, before he became such a household name?
I'd say it's before he was like a household name, but he was known. I think he'd been like inside Llewyn Davis maybe before this, and he's had some. Maybe he wasn't like a main name actor. Like he was maybe like a side actor, sort of like a side character in most movies. But yeah, I don't think this was. I think this might have been like his bigger starring role than I'd seen before this. I don't know.
Because I know, like, I've seen him in other stuff. For me, it's mostly like his bigger projects he's been a part of. But I find like kind of like hit and miss with him, and like. Because I know him from X-Men Apocalypse, he was in that.
Yeah, that's right.
Star Wars, Force Awakens. I mean, all of them.
Yeah, all the sequel series of Star Wars.
Series.
Yeah, Poe Dameron.
And for the most part, I didn't care for those.
Yeah.
I did love him in Moon Knight. I feel like that was his best performance because he's like doing multiple characters there.
Yeah,
that was great.
I thought he was a great character in that.
And but here, I don't know. This is kind of more on the not so great side, in my opinion. I do think he's a good actor, but like to me, it's a material. Did not care for this character or whatever here. Like, is it his fault? I don't know. I think that this is what they wanted for a character, but I didn't really care for it. But
see, I did like him as this character. I liked him as this tech billionaire that he's created his own company, and he's very secluded though. He's kind of secretive.
See, and for me, this is the thing. It's like, if this was me, if I was in the situation of whatever the main character is here, and I'm sitting with this, like, this is to me is like Mark Zuckerberg, and like, sure, he's a tech millionaire, he's got all this fancy stuff, whatever, but he's not the kind of guy that I want to be around. I just don't find him enjoyable. So watching a movie about him is probably why I don't like him. Honestly.
I would say, yeah, most billionaires you look at, like, they're kind of awkward. Like Elon Musk, like Mark Zuckerberg, like, they're very like socially awkward and unaware.
It would be good to take advantage of their money, sure. Yeah. But he's not a guy I want to be in a house for a week with or anything, right? Like, I
would say he doesn't really. He isn't kind of like those guys. I wouldn't say as a billionaire. He's a drunk in this movie. I wouldn't say he's like he's not like an oddball weirdo. Other than the fact that he, I guess, creates life.
I kind of feel he is an oddball weirdo. There's a lot of stuff that happens, and I think it's maybe kind of like the story kind of does it, but it's just like stuff like. He comes in the beginning. He says like, "Oh, let's just throw away the fact that you're so impressed by all the stuff I know and all the stuff I do, whatever. Let's just talk to me normally."
Yeah, we're just buds having a beer or whatever.
But then later, he's just like it's like, "Oh yeah, you can talk about how impressed." He gets all on the philosophy and stuff of it all. It's like, dude, you want to talk about like bros, but then when I'm sitting with you talking, you're like, "Oh, I want to talk about like the brain, like how we made this brain, the chaos and this and that." I'm just like, dude, like just. If you want to talk normal. Like, he keeps throwing you back and forth. And like I said, he does like a lot of weird stuff that made me think like when he starts dancing.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too far into it, but I was like, okay, a lot of the people, probably most of them, maybe all of them are robots, except for like our main guy.
Yeah.
So I was like, I knew it already. I was just like, okay, why would a regular person do this? And like, yeah, that's for the robots. That's fine. They don't know how to be human.
Yeah.
But him, I'm just like, okay, what is this character? I do not like it.
Okay. I'm guessing you've never seen Frankenstein, the more recent.
No.
Okay, I like that because it's a similar idea. Like he's a.
Unfortunately, there was a power failure, which caused our camera to stop. But thankfully, we had a secondary camera which ran on battery and caught the rest of the review. This is that camera.
Okay. I'm guessing you've never seen Frankenstein, the more recent.
No.
Okay, I like that because it's a similar idea. Like he's a guy who's creating life basically, but he's a little more outlandish and a lot more exaggerated. I love that performance. People I've talked to don't care for that performance because it's a little more exaggerated. I feel like it fit like the tone of that movie very well. This one, not nearly as outlandish, not as exaggerated. I feel like he did fit the role quite well. I do like his performance in this movie. I thought it was well done. Then we'll move on to the main human of the movie, Caleb, played by Domhnall Gleeson, if you want to talk about him.
Like, I feel like I've seen this guy before. I wouldn't know which movies he's acted in before, but his face feels familiar. But he just feels like, I was trying to think like who to compare him to. He's kind of like more like an everyday, slightly on the nerdy side. Like he would be a programmer, a tech guy, some guy behind a desk kind of thing, who's a little bit intelligent, but not socially popular kind of thing. So like, yeah, he does a good job as being like our input to like the movie and stuff. Yeah. But I don't know. He's kind of basic for that reason. They can't really say a whole lot more about him.
I know you have seen it because you mentioned Oscar Isaac in Star Wars: The Force Awakens. He's also in that as well too, but he's on the other side of things. He's on the
he'd be the bad guy.
He's
not an admiral, but he's
general something. I forget what the hell his name is.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's the one like underneath Snoke.
But then they find out he's actually playing on the good guy's side.
That's in the last movie, the Rise of Skywalker. Yes. So I mean, I've seen him in a few things, and he's an Irish actor, but he does a good normal, like I guess American accent pretty well. I've seen him in a few things more recently, like the Paper, which is like a sequel sort of spin-off to The Office, and he's like the boss on that show, and he does an American accent. He does a good job of mixing the comedy with like the drama a little bit as well, and I did like him as this young. Kind of, like I said, he's a programmer, I guess, is what he is, and he's single. He doesn't have a girlfriend, so he's maybe he's a little bit naive in the movie when we talked about it a little bit. But I did think he fit that role quite well. Like he was not obviously as smart as Nathan or Oscar Isaac's character, but he is probably maybe above average intellect. I would say
certainly when it comes to computer stuff, he's above average.
Yeah.
He does references a lot of like quotes from famous people and stuff, so he does know other stuff outside that. But.
Yeah, exactly. And then we can move on to Alicia Vikander, who played Ava, the main robot of the movie.
Yeah, well, she is my standout of the movie. I liked her a lot. Like, she felt very, I don't want to say robotic, because it's more like an AI. Like, she moves fairly human, but it's like a human that doesn't know what it's doing. So to me, it's AI. Like, it's trying to be something else. So... yeah, she was like the standout, like, and I liked her in other stuff, like she was like the Tomb Raider. Yeah. And I was like, I thought I wanted to see more of her and stuff. So this is good seeing her again. Yeah. But yeah, to me, she's a standout role. She plays kind of in between human quite well.
Yeah, I thought she was fantastic. I think she might be my standout as well too. If I had to pick between the three main leads, I think she definitely it's like she does have a robotic way about her, but she also got a very human, naturalistic way about her too. And I really, her voice was like sultry. It was almost like a little bit of a raspiness to it. I really liked her voice as well too. She's also like an English actor who's playing in an American accent. But yeah, I thought she was fantastic. I like the look of her too. Like you can see like parts of like the inside of her. Mixed with like a gray chest, and like her face is like human, and her hands and feet are all human. I think that was really cool. It really added to the effect of her being a robot. It wasn't just like you know, you can have robots kind of like the Terminator, where it's like full synthetic, or
Yeah.
like Alien, or you know, there's so many different movies and versions of robots out there that you have that just synthetic humanoid. This one, I like that you got to see like her inner workings. It's like almost like a make your own kind of computer. It's kind of what it reminded me of. Like you have a see-through computer
But
PC.
it's kind of weird in like with the story, because like you see there was other models before, and like he started off with like fleshy ones,
Yeah.
and they were flesh, and then she's not. Like she was, aside from her face, she was like denied flesh, and it's like,
Yeah.
why was she the exception when she's supposedly the more advanced model? And it's like, was it because he was trying to do this thing with Caleb?
I'm curious
But
that too. Like why wouldn't he have given her the full outfit, the full body flesh right off the hop? I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
there was a lot of stuff in it that I was just like, why did he do this for this one then? And it doesn't.
I'm thinking more
That
so
bothers me.
for us, because had we seen her just full flesh, then we already would have been questioning another character that's in the show. Like, is this a robot or is this not? Whereas maybe you're not thinking that because you're saying, oh, this is what the robots look like. Robots have all these working gears that you can see and stuff like that. Whereas we see another, I can mention her as well too. Sonoya Mizuno played Kyoko. Was like the only other notable character I would say in this movie. And so she was like almost like a servant. She only spoke Japanese. He said she didn't speak English.
Well, but the thing is, like, even then, he's like, oh yeah, she does whatever you want, and she doesn't speak or whatever, and it's just like, okay, just because someone doesn't speak your language doesn't mean you can do whatever you want.
Treat him like shit.
So I was like, this is probably a robot too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I was questioning all this stuff because people were just acting so weird right off the bat. It's like, okay, there's more robots here. I knew it right off the
And
bat.
she was so eager to please all the time. Like she's like taking off her clothes in front of Katie. He's like, no, what are you doing?
Well, it's like pleasing, but no emotion, right? Like,
Yeah.
you don't see her feeling like I wanted to please you. It was just like, do this because you want it type thing.
And that's why you can kind of tell, obviously she was maybe an earlier model because she didn't have that kind of emotionality about her at all. She definitely was more simple, I guess you could say. But yeah, we can get more into the story. I don't want to do like a whole rundown of the story. I was kind of do a quick synopsis of it, and then we can get into like moments of the movie. So Caleb, right off the bat, he's at work, and he says he won some sort of contest. He gets flown out to this secluded area, a bunch of trees and grass, and it's like this. It's also like this bunker, kind of away from everything. It's got these big windows and stuff like that. He meets Oscar Isaac's character Nathan, who is this tech billionaire. We find out his obviously his boss as well too. He works for his company, and he's there technically to test if his AI is good, if it's marketable basically at this point, if it's gonna trick people.
That's what he says. The thing about the movie is that a lot of stuff is said because he says that that's the reason when he shows up to test if it's marketable and stuff like that. But then later on he's like, is that like, you made this for me, right? You looked at my pornography thing to see what kind of people I like and what I like. It's like, this is all for me to test something else. Like, it goes back and forth with this a lot.
It does. So you're never fully clear on his reasoning for why he wanted Caleb up there. We were told that this is why, and he does have some sessions where he talks to Ava, the AI, and she is talking to him, and she's getting sympathy from him, and she's trying to get out. She doesn't want to be trapped in this bunker that he has, this laboratory that Oscar Isaac's character has. And through every once in a while, there's like some power failures and stuff like that, and that's when they can talk to each other, kind of one-on-one because the cameras aren't working. And then at some point, shit goes to hell. She does get out at the very end, and Oscar Isaac's character dies, and Caleb is trapped. Now we can get kind of into the more inner workings of the movie, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this movie thinks it's a lot more smarter than it is. That was my opinion from the beginning. Like, I was like, the robot thing I thought was pretty obvious. Like, I didn't know, because like Oscar Isaac acts so weird to a small degree. So does Caleb, but Oscar Isaac acts so weird. It's like, okay, now it's getting to the point where you're gonna be questioning who's a robot, who's not, because why is he acting like that? And then like we get to that point where Caleb is not even sure about himself.
Yeah.
And he cuts himself, which to me is another weird scene because he cuts deep and like into.
Why would you do it into your vein in your wrist?
Yeah.
Or you think you could die basically if it bleed out?
And I was.
Why do it there?
Because they just cut to like the next day or the next morning or whatever, and he's like walking around fine. Like, they never really shows him. He's wearing long sleeve. He wears like a hoodie most of the, or jumper or something like that most of the time. But I was like, you know, he should be like feeling that. There should be some reaction. Like he should maybe be a little bit pale or kind of sick if there was an infection. I thought maybe it was a dream because he's not showing any of that, and I was just like, okay.
I know the first time I had watched it, I thought that too. I thought, okay, is he really doing this? Like, why would he cut it there? And like, why is he like so upset? Like, he's only been here for like not even a week yet at this point. It's only like 6 days, I think.
But like that was the thing where they were saying like, oh, my parents died when I was 13. He's like, I don't really remember them. I'm just kind of a voice and stuff. Like, he was still fairly young. I think they said he was like early 30s, like maybe mid 30s.
He was late 20s, I think it was. Like 26, I want to say he was.
But he's like, you don't remember what like your parents and stuff when you were 13? Like, that's kind of strange. That's, I don't know. Like, I don't know anyone who's kind of in that position where they lost their parents at that kind of age. Like, I could understand if you were like 5. Yeah. Maybe even 7. But
did you say he was 13 when he lost him? I couldn't remember how old he was. Okay.
Yeah. So you're saying that, I was just like, yeah, so then is he a robot too? Like, these people, like I said, they all act so strange that it's, for me, it was like, why does everyone act so weird? Because you're throwing these wrenches in here to say, oh, is this one a robot? Is that one a robot?
I'll say the first time I watched this, I wasn't questioning things as much as I did this time, because I wasn't thinking that Nathan was testing Caleb. I just figured it was straightforward. Okay, Caleb's here to test the robot, and then maybe they'll run away together at some point because he seems to have fallen in love with her, sort of thing, or at least he sympathizes with her at some point. I never thought all that. This time going into it, I mean, I'd already seen it like 10 years ago or whatever it was, so I did already know a lot of this stuff, but I was definitely a lot more skeptical, a lot of things going on, and it was, I think, a lot more obvious. And maybe that's just because maybe movies, you just kind of gotten past this. I don't know, maybe if you watch this back then, maybe it wouldn't have seemed as obvious. Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
I don't know, like as soon as I saw it, okay, he's secluded, tech weirdo, this place that doesn't really make sense, like he has a pass key, and that just all you need is the pass key, which like that sounds really flawed. You can lock yourself in a room if you don't have your key. Like if you left it outside and you're locked in, you're done.
Like nowadays, I would think you'd probably get a thumbprint or an eye scan or something like that.
This is 2015. Even back,
you think that he would have had
even
that.
Back then, we had like chip and pin technology we used. So yeah, you do have a card, but you also needed the pin.
Yeah.
And if you started making weird things, there was an outside source. Like you get a call from your bank saying like, hey, we got these weird transactions going on, blah blah blah. And this is a super genius guy who doesn't have any of that.
But also at the same time, he did mention how he did want to test Caleb in this way, and how he wanted to see if he could help with Ava with escaping. He was testing that, so maybe that was all part of the idea of having this key card so that he could use that as his plan, sort of thing.
Doesn't explain when he's there by himself for all the times previous. Like he made all those other robots before Caleb ever showed up.
Yeah.
And like that was another thing with like the power outages.
Yeah.
You got sentient AI who we've seen, like the glass was smashed. They've acted out previously. Like he should be aware of this. And like the power outages are happening, just shakes it off, and it's like
I'm like did this normally happen like before Caleb showed up? Was this constantly just happening? You're not worried about this at all? Like this is not an issue for you? It's just like, oh no, this is just that time of the day or something. You're like, we always have this. We use so much power off the grid or something. It just has to happen at least once a day.
And I would think, like, I'm not as like genius with like electrical stuff, but like she said she was inverting the power back through her feet from her battery to the system to overload it. Yeah. And it's like, well, yeah, you'd be tripping breakers and you can see the pathway of, oh, it's coming from this room,
from that room
where she's in. I don't know how it's super genius. Like, I know that.
I don't know.
He does.
I wondered that too. Like, why? And also, another thing, I was like, why also didn't he have like some sort of a fail safe for his robots? Like when they do escape, you think maybe he would have like some sort of like a off switch button or like have like a taser or something with him to like when they do get out, okay, I can still stop them because they are sentient.
Well, the one thing that I wrote at the end was just like, okay, she's doomed anyways, because when they're flying in, the pilot says, well, we've been flying over the guy's property or estate for the last 2 hours. So it takes at least 2 hours just to get through his estate by helicopter. And then she needs to charge through her feet. She has a battery. So where else are you going to charge a robot like that with a floor charged through her feet? So it's going to be like 2 hours of battery power just to get out of there. And then, I don't know how long her battery lasts. I can't imagine she'd be for more than like a couple of days doing.
She could. I'm sure she could hotwire or something. She could figure how to hook up to a car battery or something like that.
Oh, I don't know.
Plug herself into a wall. That was that. There is, but maybe other ways of actually charging her. That was just the way that she did it inside the compound. I don't know. That's I wasn't explained to full how she gets.
And like, why does the pilot just take some random person? Like, you think there'd be like, okay, I'm sending this person to come, in or out to the facility, but he just picks up the girl and takes her away. Alicia Vikander, picks her up and goes, and it's just like, you don't question anything, like.
That at the very end, yeah, too. Like I wondered, like, wait, did they fly away or did we just see her go to the helicopter?
Well, I was waiting to see them like show like a body lying in the grass or something.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she killed him.
Did we actually see them fly off? I don't remember.
You see the helicopter flying away.
It does? Okay.
It cuts. Like, she meets him.
Okay.
And then it cuts and you just see the helicopter flying away. And I was like, are we going to pan down and see a body or...
Or she's just made up some bullshit like, Nathan told me to take Caleb's place back to wherever we're going or something like that.
But it's just like, it's so weird. Like, could someone have shown up in Caleb's place in the beginning being like, I'm the winner and just take me in?
The pilot doesn't know who he's taking, I guess. He's just there to pick up a body. And it might be that simple. Like, maybe Nathan has it set so that he only told the pilot, we're going to be picking up one person, you're going to be coming out here. He doesn't know who it is.
See, and I'm a very questioning person, so that's why I had a lot of issues with this movie. Like, why is this? Why is that? And there's a lot of things that, like, it's like, he never suspects Ava of lying to him. Like, yes, what's his name? Nathan tells him, like, oh, maybe she's only pretending to like you. It's like, well, yeah, either she was liking him or not liking him, but she was saying she liked him, so that's pretending to like someone. So like, he should have figured that out. It wasn't a big revelation that she could lie.
Yes.
And we've seen before that she knew what like misdirection and lying was, because she did that thing where she's talking to him. She's like, you're lying. She's like, that's the truth, you're lying. So she knows it.
Yeah. And
then later on, she turns the power out, and she talks one way. When the power comes back on, she starts acting normally. So she's doing deception as well. So I was like, why wouldn't you question the robot? But he never does.
Because she's talking to him about Nathan lying. So right away, he's already skeptical of Nathan, not even thinking about her. I think that's all it was. It was just as simple as like, she's got to be telling me the truth, because Nathan's the one that's being false. He's telling these lies, and then he questions Nathan on him, and he finds out that he is lying to him as well too.
He's testing the robot. So if he's testing the robot, he should be like, this robot is capable of lying. I know that from this interaction. So then he should also think it could lie to me too. There's no reason to believe that everything she says. Sure, you can say that she doesn't always lie,
but it also goes back to like when he even questions Nathan about like, you designed this for me, right? Because you looked at my porn search and all like that. I feel like because he's just naive, because he is seeing this beautiful woman, that it is that much easier to believe someone like that. And I understand. I think that's why he doesn't even question the fact that she's lying. Or if she is lying, then it's not the kind of lies that Nathan says. It's not as big of a lie or whatever it is.
Yeah, but from his point of view as well.
He's just a horny young guy. That's all it is. That's all it is, man.
The robot acts out too, like against Nathan. So it's like, Nathan's lying, but the robot's acting out against him. So it's not entirely a test of Caleb. Like, even if it was set up that way, the robot's going off script at some point.
But it also, like, even like watching the videos of like Nathan talking to her, and then like ripping up the paper and stuff like that, it makes Nathan look like the bad guy. So obviously, he's just gonna sympathize with her no matter what. It's just in his head the whole time, not even realizing she's lying.
There was so much of the camera bullshit that I was just like, after he passes out, but he put that other camera there to record everything. Yeah. And he finds out their big thing going on. Yeah. But like, he didn't look and see that, Caleb went into here and started reprogramming everything in my bedroom. It's like, I should have looked into what he was doing. It's like, he waits until after the fact. It's like, so what was your plan? It's like, dude, you should have been on your computer before he fucking woke up and shit. Like, so dumb.
Well, yeah, I there was a little bit of questionable there, because when Nathan does get drunk the one night, that's when Caleb did all that stuff, like you said. So he doesn't even think about doing stuff that night because he figured the whole plan was going to happen the night after, but he'd already executed it already, I guess. So that was kind of dumb on Nathan's part to just be that delusional that that Caleb wouldn't have already done something, already started this plan in motion.
Yeah, like, and like that wasn't just on his remote camera because the power came back on while he was passed out. You could have just looked on any of the cameras. It was all there. Well, I don't know where they're all situated, but he could see him going into his room where he has the computers and everything.
I noticed one time when Caleb was talking to Ava, he was talking about a story about this girl named Mary, and then how she was confined, and so she finally got out and saw the light and saw the blue sky, and that's when she became human. I was like, oh, okay, that's obviously a prelude to what's going to be happening.
Yeah.
In the movie.
Well, I mean, I knew at the end of the movie, whatchamacallit escapes.
Ava.
Like Ava escapes. Like even if it was like he erased the memories on the machine, it would probably be a scene afterwards where she. He's got the old husk of the machine and it wakes up and it says something that only they would know kind of with each other. And it'd be like, oh, it's still her and she escaped after all kind of thing. I knew one way or the other it would come out. But I got to say, like, I was never really on board with, like, when she betrays Caleb at the end and leaves him locked in there, I was like, I don't really care. I never really cared for Nathan or Caleb. To me, the whole time I was just like, I want the robot to escape. That's the most interesting character here. I did not care for Caleb or Nathan.
I definitely felt bad for Caleb. Actually, I felt bad for both of them because I don't think Nathan deserved to die. Just because he made robots. These are first and foremost, these are robots. They are programs. They are not human beings. They do not deserve to die over a robot. I'm sorry. And then Caleb, who's seemingly trapped in there for who knows how long, if he ever gets out of there, I feel bad for them because they are human beings over a robot.
But what the Ava asks Caleb at one point, like, are you a moral person? And he's like, I don't know, I like to think I am.
Yeah.
So she knows morality, it seems. But she leaves him in there, so it's like, well, she was never immoral. Like, he helped her, but she leaves him.
Yeah, does she have morality? Or is it just another program? Because he also asked the question of like the chess game. Like, does a chess game know that it's a chess game, or is it just a program trying to beat somebody? That's it. You gotta think outside the box like that. It's like, is any of this really computing, or is it just what she's programmed to do?
But like Nathan, I never felt bad about it at all when he gets killed. I was just like, guy's a fucking douche. I hated him the whole time. I was like, if these are real people, like he said that Kyoko was a real person, and he has no problem treating her the way he treated her. I'm like.
But she's not a real person though, so that's why he can treat her
the
like
way
that.
He treats Caleb.
Yes,
like, he sees Caleb cut his arm open, and he's like, "Dude, what was with that? You like cut your arm and smeared blood and punched like." A real like caring human person would be like, "Okay, we gotta check your arm out. Like, we should probably get you off here. I'll set you up with whatever. Like, this has gone too far if I'm making you do that type of thing." He's not. He doesn't fucking care. This
is all a test on both of them. It seems like
Caleb maybe a little bit that. What
did he do wrong? Why do you want him to stay there?
He was kind of.
He did nothing wrong.
Well, he could have.
He's just naive, is all.
For me, I feel like you could get out of that room. I feel like he'd get out of that room eventually. It wouldn't be easy or anything.
I don't know if he has access to the rest of the building though. I think he can only get to like the room that had the fucking chair, and he can bash the chair.
Break a wall, like work on the wall, like start cutting into it with like.
He's a smart guy. Maybe he'll figure a way out, or he'll just die.
But even with him, like he was still kind of like. Trying to find a good side of Caleb Nathan to justify like everything that's going on there. It's like, dude, this is all so wrong. You should have stepped away from this a long time.
He's also his boss, so it's hard to tell your boss where the bear shit's in the woods. Sometimes.
It was just that he had to like the NDA thing, right? Like I can't tell anyone about this. Yeah. That was a big thing. But it's like, what did he really get from all this? And at the end, it's not like he got money or he got any of the research credit because he can't break the NDA. So he was just there to.
I think he was just there basically to meet and the experience of whatever this big tech billionaire is willing to give to you.
I don't know. To me, it's like, how much is that worth to you?
He didn't know what he was even there for. He didn't know that it was to test out this AI that he had created, which is nowadays AI is just everywhere. So I mean, it's just commonplace. Anybody could build a robot like this.
When someone comes up to me and puts like an NDA like that before I can go any further, I'm like, no, this is how far I'm going to go. Because obviously you're doing something you don't
Well,
want to
he
get out.
questioned it. He's like, should I have a lawyer for this? And he says, if you want, we can just, just hang out like bros, and you could just go home, or you can sign the NDA, and we can get this thing started.
Yeah, I probably would have done that.
Yeah.
I probably would, I don't know if I would even hang out and be like, get a helicopter back here, like today. I don't want to be stuck here.
It said it's a standard NDA.
That
It
place,
doesn't look like a standard NDA.
that place was creepy too. Like I don't know why there was no walls.
It was claustrophobic.
No windows or
Yeah.
whatever.
I was gonna say, I appreciated the scenes where they were actually outside of it, because I was feeling a little bit claustrophobic just watching it, like always being encased inside this one building the whole time. And then when they actually went outside, like, on the mountain, like Nathan and Caleb just going for a walk or whatever it was, I was like, oh, okay, it's a little refreshing.
Well, yeah, but like he got locked in the room and he couldn't leave of his own accord. I'm like, you really want Nathan to be able to lock you in your room with no windows, no doors, or nothing? Like, this is
For the experience of a lifetime. People have done worse for less.
Yeah, well, I mean, people are stupid too.
Yeah, people are stupid. But this is, it probably was like an experience of a lifetime for him, though, because to meet this guy is probably, something that he looks up to, I'm assuming, because he has all these millions of dollars, and he has kind of built his company from the ground up. I would think that he's just kind of in awe of this guy at the very beginning. Like, even at the very beginning, when he does meet this guy, just get past that already, get past that. Let's just have some beers, I think that's what it was. He's just in awe of this guy that he's with, more
Plus,
than anything.
I also thought, like, okay, Caleb will be fine because they got to have food shipments coming there at some point, and for that you need to have like some communication outside, like, okay, look, I'm sick, I haven't been eating anything, stop sending me food because it's just gonna rot, or vice versa. There has to be something going on there, and someone's gonna check it out eventually.
Mm-hmm. And I noticed something this watch too is when Ava and Caleb are talking to each other when he's interviewing her and doing his sessions. A lot of times they'll frame it so it looks like he's kind of in a box and she's got more room. I was like, okay, that's obviously some foreshadowing there as well too. Is them saying that he's kind of the one trapped in the box and she's kind of has the freedom, or will have the freedom anyways.
One thing that was really weird towards the end when like Ava meets Keiko for like the first time, said she acts like, who are you?
So. Yeah,
It
it does appear like they hadn't met before.
But they were in let's call it a testing room where they were separated. That's where they first meet. But then later they're in the hallway and she's like whispering into her ear and she's like, what else do you have to tell them when you already taught? Like they were in that room, the interview or the testing room, for an undetermined amount of time. So what else do you have to tell her here outside? Like, I feel like they should have already been on the plan. And then, yeah, for Nathan to completely ignore her, like the Keiko when he's fighting with Ava, it's just like,
she's been so subservient to him this whole time. Why wouldn't she just...
They're obviously colluding.
Well, I think, because she's also an earlier model too, she's probably never showed any signs of violence. And that's all it was. It's just she's always been... always doing whatever he says. He's so subservient to him. Why would he think that she's even going to do anything to him?
And I didn't like how easily that knife goes through. There's no resistance.
Well, I also I take that to them being stronger, maybe.
I don't think they're stronger because he turns her over and
they definitely do smash easier. But I think they might be a little bit stronger.
No, Ava was on top of him and he throws her off and he's holding her down.
Well, she's lighter, yeah, but I think she still has a little more strength. I didn't like it because I thought it's disgusting how slowly they put it into him.
It needs to have some resistance. Like, you got to hit some like bones or denser tissue that it poses resistance.
It went right between the ribs. It's perfect. No. It was good. It was good placement. They're the robots. They know exactly. They scanned his body, went right there. That's what they did. They scanned exactly where they needed to go, so there wouldn't be any resistance from bones. I was going to say, have I seen this movie before? Well, yeah, I already mentioned that. Okay, I definitely was aware of the deception from the beginning, only because I'd already seen this movie before. The first time I watched it, I was definitely more so in Caleb's corner. I was kind of I was definitely a lot more oblivious to what was going on. I was just kind of along for the ride. This watch, I was like, okay, I'm more aware of Ava. I know what she's doing from the beginning, and I was actually a little more sympathetic to Nathan a little bit because I actually was happy when he died in the first time I watched the movie. This time I was like, damn, he really didn't need to die because it's just a bunch of computers that killed him.
Nah, I didn't care for him, and I didn't really know anything about this movie going in. So
well, I mean, you got a robot heart yourself.
So I was just like, okay, we're in a weird isolated place where there's no one else, so that means shenanigans. Something here is going to be shenanigans for sure. Then the only guy that is there, that's like our host, is crazy off his ass. So also, there's more shenanigans
He's
there.
drunk, yeah.
So I knew right away, like, okay, this is all going to be some BS bullshit. Whatever you like showed up for this Turing test, it's not going to be that. There's going to be more to it. And then we get other characters that we didn't know about showing up with Keiko, and it's like, okay, so there's probably more robots because no one here acts like a human.
Yeah.
And then, I thought of a way better way for her to escape in the end, because, like, when she gets out of her room, she sees Keiko, and then she sees the mask on the walls. Like,
Yeah.
wouldn't it be cool if she switched faces, like, with Keiko? And
Do a Hannibal Lecter.
he puts Keiko back in the thing, but then she escapes out, the door or something, and be like,
Yeah.
oh, that would have been way smarter.
Yeah, it was Kiko instead of, Ava.
Yeah, and, like, you could be trying to test her, and like, why would you
Wait a
talk to
minute.
me? Why would you talk to me?
Those weren't Keiko's boobs.
Well, that was the other thing. When she goes and she finds those old models, she starts taking the skin. Like,
Yeah.
she's nowhere near the same proportions or sizes. It looked like she took off the Asian one.
It was, yeah.
She's totally different body type. It's like they wouldn't fit.
I didn't compare the body types exactly, but I think it might have
It's
worked.
taller.
I'm pretty sure it's like magnetic. It would have.
She was.
Was she
taller.
tall? I know Keiko was tall, but I don't know if the one that was in the closet one.
The
Though.
Asian one looks a lot taller.
No, she was like hanging there though. She looked taller because she was hanging there. You didn't see her eye to eye when they were actually standing
you'd
there.
seen her with Nathan because he had her in the room before. So she was taller than Nathan. And Nathan's about the same size as Ava.
She just took her torso skin though. She took the skin from other ones. So she's got a big blend of different robot bodies.
She didn't have any of the black.
She's got
like the
black areola.
tan.
No, she didn't get any of the black one. No, maybe she got her hair. I don't remember what her hair looked like. But one thing that I actually really liked about this movie, you probably didn't care for it so much, but it was like a big horror moment when Caleb's watching the camera footage and he's seeing like the creation of the robots from like the ground footage. You see the legs just standing there, and then he adds to it, and then it's like a quick camera footage is showing like different robots that he's creating. He's questioning them, and then he's creating another one, and then one's like smashing its fists on the wall. I like the quick cut of that whole sequence. I thought it was really cool done. It made it seem a lot more like horror centric, that part of the movie.
Oh, the legs thing didn't really bother me because he's just making a robot, so you got to do testing at some point, and if they look like humans, they're intended to look like humans. You got to test that. Like when it has like the brain and it starts smashing the wall, like, okay, yeah, that's a little bit more horror centric because now you're putting like some kind of what looks like mentally acting out. Like these robots are probably just short circuiting, like bad programming. But on the human side, what they look like, yeah, that's horror. Like,
yeah, it was definitely meant to be more horror because even the lighting. A lot of times when like the red light would come on, so like for the power outage, that would be like them talking to each other. It's like, why would it have to be this bright, very red light? And you think for a power outage, you could just have like backup lights that don't need to be bright red. Obviously, it's meant to give you that feeling of uneasiness. Is what it's meant to do. And I thought that coupled with like the horror video of them like smashing their hands and being built, it made Nathan look like the bad guy.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole sequence.
And we knew that, like, when he asked before, like, was there other models before? He's like, yeah, there was. Like, so we knew automatically, like, okay, he's done something like this before, and we don't, like, he didn't say Keiko was one, but we don't see any of the other ones around, so it's like, obviously he gets rid of them after the fact.
Yeah, I'd mentioned, why doesn't Nathan question why he keeps getting these power failures, which we'd already talked about. That is a questionable thing. I don't know if it was an intentional thing to help with the escape, so that it helped sell the idea that Caleb and Ava were working together, even though he was aware of it. I don't know. Maybe that's the power failures were actually a false herring. Like they weren't really a thing for real.
I just like, as a guy who went through, I think it was like 7 models of women trying to perfect it, just seems like a huge oversight. He's like, oh yeah, our power keeps failing randomly. I don't care about it. It's just happening.
I do wish
like,
you would have explained it a bit more to Caleb. Give us a bit of a more reason why it's happening, why you're having these power failures, and why you're not so concerned about it.
Well, even if he was like looking through the system and he's like, I just can't find the cause or whatever, like, he didn't even search. Yeah. To me, it's like a guy who cares that much about perfecting his ideas to just be like, yeah, this place I live in, I don't really give a shit about it. It's like,
I don't know if you have any more notes. I kind of went through most of my notes.
Yeah, pretty much most of it. I would just be pointing out like all these different times, but
I just have like some fun facts. Like this movie, I guess it won the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects in 2015, apparently. It went up, like movies that it went up against: Mad Max: Fury Road, Star Wars: The Force Awakens, and The Revenant. Like those are some big name, like big budget movies. This movie had a budget of 15 million. Those ones have like hundreds of millions of dollars. So I know people were really upset that this movie won because it had that smaller budget.
Yeah.
But I mean, it did look good. Like I think she looked good, but it's very minimal the amount of special effects.
Her face, like when it's like normal, like didn't really, like it looked like she's like went too high up, and I know she doesn't have hair, kind of thing. But it just the way it reaches the rest of her body, it looked like okay, obviously she's wearing like a green or blue suit or whatever color they were using, the green or blue, and like it's around there, and
they made like an edge kind of around the skin.
The gray parts might actually be clothing, like on her torso and stuff. They have, like that might
most likely
clothing she's wearing, and then they just. So I was like, I understand what's going on, but the stuff around the face just kind of looked like it stood out a bit to me.
Like just like the edges part.
Yeah, like just right around the edge, like wherever there was flesh. Like okay.
I would say if there was a fault, that was the one thing I noticed too. Is it definitely looked like it was like almost like paintbrushed or something like that. Like it was definitely, it was a little too smooth, I would say. But maybe you could just adhere that to being like latex plastic or something.
But like so that for visual effects just for like the one character, just that does seem like going a little bit far.
Yeah, I can see why people might be a little upset that those other movies that have so many visual effects
compared to like Star Wars, where I'm sure a whole lot of scenes were completely on a soundstage where everything was green, and there's probably like one actor talking to someone holding up a tennis ball for him to look against like that.
And I just read this fun fact, like the three main characters, I guess they have a appropriate biblical type name. So Ava is like a form of Eve, the first woman. Nathan is a prophet in the court of David, and Caleb was a spy sent by Moses to evaluate the promised land. So that was, I guess, the idea behind their names in the movie, which I wouldn't have known that at all, but I could see it with Eve and Ava being a thing. That's kind of it for the synopsis, what we kind of thought about the movie. Now we'll get into the good, the bad, and the ugly of the movie. You want to start off with the good?
Sure. My good, I gotta go with Alicia Vikander's, her movements, her emotions, they felt very much like I said, like an AI learning to be human. Like there wasn't like, stiff movements, like I gotta move like a robot kind of thing. It felt like something like, like a program buffering.
It wasn't like this guy.
It felt like a program buffering, like everything she said and did, it was there with like intent, and it kind of reacted to that kind of thing. It's not like humans where you already have your next thought going. Like she's waiting, hearing, responding type thing.
Yeah.
So she's the standard of the film, in my opinion.
And I'll say I don't know what happened to her. I haven't seen her in like anything in a while. I've seen her in this movie. I've seen her in Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
I think I saw her in The Man from U.N.C.L.E., which came out a few years after that, I think.
I don't know if Tomb Raider was before or after this.
I think it's after this. I'm pretty sure this was like her big debut. Maybe not debut, but her big standout role, I think, was what this movie was. So yeah, I like that, but I'll do another thing. My favorite moment in the movie was the security cam footage of like him like progressing, making the different robots and seeing them kind of different models that he made and seeing like the horror of it all. I really loved that whole sequence. It stood out for me as a really cool moment. I'll go into the bad first. So my bad was, I thought it was kind of dumb that Nathan didn't have a contingency plan at all for these robots. Like he's obviously, like he said, I guess I mentioned that they didn't really stand up against him before, but you can see that the one like smashed his hands obviously in that video, so they do have some sort of anger problems or some sort of issues with them. There's some sort of problems with his program if they've had issues in the past. So you think that maybe he would have some sort of contingency plan in case they did break out, like have some sort of like a button, kill switch button, or like I said, like a taser to electrify them to stop him. The fact that he didn't have that, I thought was kind of dumb.
Yeah, like that was something I had earlier in my notes of just like, yeah, this seems like just like a death trap. Like you're just waiting. You're waiting for the perfect circumstance to happen where it kills you. Like there was just so many things that were wrong with that build and the setup he has. For my bad, like I didn't like the dialogue with like primarily Nathan and Caleb. Like just it all felt too pretentious and everything. Like they talk about all these lofty ideas and stuff, and it's like you and I don't sit here and talk about like, oh, like don't talk to me like I'm a guy who works in here. Talk to me like your friend. Like, no, you just talk like normal people. Like they keep citing all these quotes. Like they quote Oppenheimer. They quote this. They quote that, and it's just like they talk like everything is so grandiose and whatever. It's like you're just two guys working on a freaking robot. Like I don't know, just not seem normal.
It's world changing, man. A robot like this is gonna be something that would change the world.
It's kind of like the AI we have now that I have in my phone. And is it world changing?
But you can.
It's nice.
But as Nathan said, you can fuck it.
I mean,
he did say it's got neurons and it's got sensors.
There are fuck bots now. I don't think anyone. Well, not that I know.
I don't think they have sensors and neurons and stuff.
Not for public consumption. We don't have AI fuck bots as far as I know. Anyway.
I'm saying this is the next step, merging the two, the AI and the fuck bot.
Oh yeah, and like that, doing that too, like start making it sexual. It's like,
oh, that's why even Caleb was questioning that too.
Why
did you give it a sexual look to it? I think that helps in her tricking him.
Well, to test him, but that goes against like his original premise that it was for like the open marketplace because that's ready, and it's like, well, you wouldn't. Why are you making it sexual for an open marketplace thing?
I'll say this. There's a recent movie I watched too. It's kind of a similar idea with the robots being like sexual. It's called Companion, and spoiler alert, there's robots in that movie. But yeah, they're meant to be like companions, like boyfriend, girlfriend, and they're robots that you buy, and but they don't realize that they're robots in that movie. Right. And it's similar. I would say kind of the same level of AI. I would say that they would have, and level of detail on them as well. So they just look like a human being, but they're sexualized, and it's a good movie too. I would say. But anyways, get down to the ugly, I guess. Yeah.
The ugly. I just had like. Just everyone felt like they're acting like strangely. Like everyone felt like they were a distraction for the story. Because, like I said, I knew right away that things aren't what they seem, and it's just like, why is Nathan dancing around all of a sudden for like that weird disco-y
I absolutely loved that. I wanted more of that.
And then like Caleb starts cutting himself, and he doesn't have memories of his past. Kyoko's a robot that doesn't talk. Well, we didn't know for sure. You could say, but. Well, she's this person doesn't talk or whatever, and like, everything felt like a distraction because we're talking about what the robot can do, what it can't do. She's saying that Nathan's lying. We know that she can lie. Like everything just seems like all this other stuff's just thrown in there to be distraction. Mm-hmm. That's why everyone's weird, and that bugged me. I'm like, I don't need everything to be strange on this island, like this Dr. Moreau island where nothing can be normal. Like, I want the plot of this robot itself is good enough that I don't need all this other weird shit. I don't need like a crazy...
The mental games that they're playing with each other.
I need all that. I think it'd be more interesting just to analyze the robot itself, but...
I don't know if it would be. I don't know. For my ugly, I kind of had two. I already mentioned the one that was just the slow stab into his body. I was like, oh... That'd be horrible to be stabbed so slowly. So I'm going to go with the other thing that would also mention too is a good thing. So ugly doesn't have to be a bad thing. This is something that just stands out in the movie. And the standout for me is him dancing, Nathan dancing with Kyoko. I actually wanted more of that. I like their moves and stuff that they're dancing together. It's like I think in the DVD or the Blu-ray, I think there is actually a deleted scene where you can actually watch more of that. I haven't watched it, but I would actually watch some more of that. I did like that dance scene.
Well, we're gonna get to the reviews soon that we talk about. But one of the reviews was talking about like, oh, Oscar Isaac's so buff in this. I was like, he didn't really seem that buff. Like, didn't look to be.
Well, you never saw him with his shirt off, but you did see him like punching bag
stuff. Like he's working out.
Yeah.
But to me, that was just like, you know, your dad's hitting the gym kind of thing, but he's not going there consistently type thing.
Unless maybe his last role he was pretty emaciated and skinny. I don't know.
But that was just what the reviews were saying. I'm like. He also like one punches Caleb.
He did, yeah.
So I was just like, oh.
I was like, obviously the working out's going to lead to something at some point, right? And then he punches. Okay, there you go. That's why he can do that because he's not just a nerdy tech guy. He's not, he doesn't just make Facebook.
He could also just smash a bottle on his head, and that would be enough explanation. Yeah. Or even how he had like the bar
from the
bar. Yeah, that could have been the payoff from working out is that I can use this to fight the robot kind of thing.
So that's it for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Next, we like to do some online reviews, which is, I like to look at some, Joe Schmo down the road to see what regular people think of this movie. I go to Letterboxd to find those. He likes to do the more professional stuff. He goes to Metacritic usually. Yeah, so he finds the more professional stuff, and I'll start with mine. I'll start with like a lower rating, then a middle one, and then a higher rating. So this one, it's a very long one. I'm only going to read the very first sentence this person said. They gave it a 0.5 star, so they're not a fan. This movie can suck my ex-cockina. That's all. They said a whole lot more after that, but it's not worth reading. I just wanted to read that stupid intro line this person said. I obviously they didn't like it. I don't know. I don't know why they didn't like it. If you read what they said, it's stupid. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
He no longer has a dick. His ex Scott.
Suck his ex. Yeah, exactly. Maybe this is a trans person that wasn't a fan of the movie. I don't know. I didn't get that too in depth with their review.
What is it's Deus Ex Machina is a whole phrase, which does that mean seize the day, or what does that mean? I'm trying to remember. I'll look it up while you're doing that.
I looked it up too, and it was a Latin term.
Yeah.
Had something to do with robotics, obviously, but I can't remember exactly what it was. And then this next second review I have here is a 4-star review. Viewing number 2 was interesting. I feel like you watched the first time as Caleb and the second time as Nathan. And that's honestly kind of what I did. The first time I watched it, I was a lot more oblivious and just kind of along for the ride. And I was kind of like Caleb. I was sympathizing with the robot and Caleb in the first time I watched. This time I was like, no. These are just robots. Nathan, I don't care what Nathan does to these robots. They're literally just programs. Sure, they can sympathize with their programming and all that stuff, but they're not real. They're still just programs. So I was really more on Nathan's side the second time I watched this movie.
You explain it that way. I was probably looking at it more from like an outside observer, like maybe Kyoko's point of view.
Yeah.
That like it's just like, okay, these people are all awful, but I kind of sympathize with the robot more because like she's at least, I don't know, it was more interesting. I want to see her get freedom.
Yes.
The other people are just, I don't know, didn't care for how they acted and stuff.
I mean, if you can fight the argument that yes, the simulated intelligence is intelligence, then yes, I will sympathize with her and I'll say yes, I'm glad she escaped. Good for her. Girl power, all that stuff. But I don't know if you can really make that argument.
I think if I was there in person, like if I was Caleb in that situation, I wouldn't have let her out. Like I would be like, I do want to test you more, but I would let you out. I don't trust you.
I don't know, man. I could see you doing that. You were sympathizing with her. You said that she's the only one you cared about.
Sympathizing does not mean I'm going to help them.
Not going to make them escape. Sorry, and then my last review here, I guess, is a 5-star review. Fantastically aged. I haven't seen a movie that has hit me this hard in a while. Still can't recognize Oscar Isaac, but can recognize that he did in fact tear up that dance floor. Yeah, I agree. He did tear up that dance floor.
Still can't recognize Oscar Isaac. Does it mean like?
Maybe
know what he looks like.
I'm assuming because he hadn't really worn a beard and shaved his head before this movie. Is my guess. Maybe that's what they're going for. But yeah, that's my online reviews. Next one, move to his.
I was gonna say Deus Ex Machina means God from the machine. So I guess Ex Machina would just mean from the machine.
From the machine, I guess. Yeah. Okay.
I should use this for my reviews.
Nice, you can remember him.
Like you said, I use different sources. I mean, usually it's Metacritic if I can find them. Like sometimes I go to Rotten Tomato. It depends on the movie. But I was able to get my reviews from Metacritic here, and I generally try to get like one high, one in the middle, and one lower scored. It doesn't even have to be something that I totally agree with, but as long as I understand what they're saying, and like this movie in particular, there's a lot of things where like it got a lot of perfect scores, and I was just like reading them. I'm like, they were saying like stuff that I just could not understand, so I didn't take a whole lot of perfect scores. I do have one. I did make sure because there was a few of them.
Yeah.
So we'll start off high. The L.A. Times, Los Angeles Times. Shrewdly imagined and persuasively made, Ex Machina is a spooky piece of speculative fiction that's completely plausible, capable of both thinking big thoughts and providing pulp thrills. But even saying that doesn't do this quietly unnerving film full justice. A score of 100 of 100.
Okay.
So, yeah, it is like speculative fiction about like at the time, anyways.
Yeah.
Like we're kind of getting closer to that in real world right now.
Yeah,
like,
it's surprisingly close now. Yeah.
Yeah, and plausible. Like yes, I would think that some stupid billionaire would do something like that, where an AI, a possibly dangerous AI,
it's gonna happen.
Gets out. Like yeah, they're that stupid and full of themselves.
Elon Musk is probably on the cusp of doing that right now.
Yeah. So. That was LA Times. That was the highest scoring one there. Kind of more in the middle from the Chicago Tribune. Alas, the movie cannot resolve its story in any sort of surprising or truly fresh way. Where's a good old-fashioned Deus Ex Machina caper when you need it? It's worth seeing nonetheless. Score of 75 out of 100. So yeah, I just felt like it was pretty plain. Like for how much this movie builds itself up, it's like everything feels like it's been done before. You're not really doing anything new. Mm-hmm. You're just making it. Like I said, the dialogue and stuff, everything sounds so pretentious, and I was just like, do not care for this. I know where this is going. Nothing surprised me in it. So yeah, it's like 75 out of 100 is what they gave it. I was like, yeah, that's kind of more or less where I'm at. And then finally, on the lower end, from Time Out London, I've never heard of them before. Vikander's spellbinding, not quite human presence. Her synthetic skin is silky yet creepy, keeps us watching, but an only too obvious twist and some clunky plotting drained much of the credibility from a story which promised us so much. Score of 60 out of 100. So yeah, like I said, Vikander was great. I liked her a lot, but I agree. The story was clunky. The twist to it all did not surprise me. So I agree with what they were saying there. Like I could see that too. But yeah, those are my 3 reviews.
I can't really say that I was ever surprised. Even when I first watched it, I wasn't like the twist. I never thought it was much of a twist. I thought it was kind of going one direction and maybe take like a slightly side turn. It wasn't really a big of a like oh my god reveal.
I think
anything like that.
It was trying to be like the Kyoko was a robot. It was maybe a little twist that Ava was lying, like using Caleb, like she didn't really care. Like at first I thought, oh, she might show up, like at the end somehow that she's going to get out.
Yeah.
And then maybe Caleb's like in a downtown area and he sees a girl dressed the way she was there. She never even wears those clothes that she's like, I'm going to wear it to our date. She doesn't wear any of those clothes. Yeah. She doesn't even have her hair the same way. She had
that short, really almost a shaved head.
She doesn't take a long hair when she goes out. So it's like, oh, okay, well that's not happening.
Is the better look, I mean, if I'm being honest.
They're both fun in their own way. The clothes that she wore in the beginning, I was like her. I think the socks were there just to cover her legs, so she looks.
Yeah, so you didn't see the inside. Yeah.
But yeah, I did not care for the look there. But
I think it was just basically clothes that she just happened to have laying around, almost like.
Or she made even.
Or maybe. But that's it for the online reviews. Now we go to our own reviews, and I will start with mine. I know I'm obviously a bigger fan. I own this movie, and I'd seen it twice now, and I enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it different ways both times. Actually, I did enjoy it quite a bit both times. And my score out of 10 is an 8.5. So I think I had it around there probably last time I watched this as well too, and it hasn't really changed. It is about where I had it this time as well. So 8.5. I quite enjoy this movie. It's not phenomenal, like it's not a 10 out of 10, but it's not. I do like a lot of the things that you maybe have issues with. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's probably it. I have issues with it. So I didn't like it as much as you. Like I said, I felt the story was kind of like I calling things out long before they happened, and I felt like I was sitting there waiting. They're doing all this other stuff, which was all distraction, and I'm just like, okay, just come on with the plot. Let's see this robot turn or whatever's going to happen. There's going to be some plot in motion to escape, and I'm just waiting for that. To me, that was the whole film. Everything else was just nonsense. So I gave it a 6 out of 10, and really, I sat there for a long time thinking, like, is that where I want to be? I think realistically, I might have even given it like a 5.8, but we only go by 0.5.
Yeah, we by 5s.
So this is closer to that. But like, yeah, it's just if this is on TV, would I watch it again? Now I'd probably flip the channel to something else. And not this weekend. It was on a company retreat. I can't remember. Okay. But I was at the company thing, and there were some really bad movies on. It's like, would I watch those over this? And I'm not saying this is a bad movie, but like my enjoyability, like, you know, sometimes you watch a bad movie because it's funny just to see things slashed up.
Oh, I know what you're saying.
But like not paying attention to it. This movie, I feel like you got to pay attention to, and if you just had it on the background, it'd be like, nah, I'm not watching.
I unapologetically watch the Fast and the Furious franchise, and they're bad movies.
Yeah.
I could easily have those in the background. I could even just sit down and watch it for 20, 30 minutes, whatever. Those are stupid, dumb movies, but I still would watch them.
Well, yeah, but like, the ones I'm thinking of were like Jurassic World Dominion and Red.
Oh, okay. Yeah, those are pretty dumb, turn your brain off movies.
But like, at least, you know, there's dinosaurs attacking and stuff. This.
Yeah, at least you got a feast for the eyes sort of thing.
Yeah, this is like a lot of people just sitting down talking.
There's a feast for the eyes with all the naked robots.
But yeah, if you're not like kind of focusing on it, like I said, I didn't really care for the dialogue, so I don't want to focus on it. So to me, it's not something I'd put on again, really.
Okay. Well, that's going to do it for our review of Ex Machina. Before we go, I'd like to say where you can find us, and where can we find you, sir?
I am the Lewis Lightning. You can find me on Twitch, where I'm playing hopefully something fresh. I haven't actually played anything lately because I've been so busy with Slay the Spire 2 on my PC. But I'll get back, especially with Wolverine.
Why don't you stream Slay the Spire?
My computer's so old. But maybe I'll find a way to do it. But yeah, Slay the Spire 2 is what I'm playing now. But I'll get back to Twitch. And you can always find me on YouTube as The Lewis Sighting. That's all one word. I got some gameplay videos on there. Older stuff from like the PS3 era. And I unbox things like this.
You should unbox that. Well, it was already unboxed when you bought it.
It was already unboxed.
Yeah.
That's just something I got for my trip.
That's Cole McGrath.
Cole McGrath from
The Infamous series.
Infamous 2.
Yeah.
Electric Boogaloo.
Looks pretty sweet. And you can find me unboxing things on a few different places, but YouTube especially, where you can find me as Country Boy Niner. I'm also known as Country Boy _9, a bunch of different places. I did unbox this guy at one point. So he is a robot. Well, I guess he's more of an android more than anything. Cyborg, yeah. He's called RoboCop, so I guess the robot's in the name. But yeah, I did unbox him on my channel. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, Twitch, all over the place. You can find me one of those 2 channels. And then you can find both of us on another channel called Wasted Opinions, where we talk about a lot of stuff. Movies, TV shows, video games, comic books, music, wrestling, whatever you can think of. We probably talked about it with another guy with us as well. He's not here.
If we're not talking about it, the third guy's talking about it.
Yeah, exactly. One of us, one of those 3 guys. But that's going to do it for our review of Ex Machina. Until next time, domo arigato, Mr. Roboto.
I was going to do that.
I beat you to it. I beat you to it. Also, I found barks.
Yeah,
it is in Alberta. There's barks in
that.
Alberta. He's a liar, this guy, telling me there's no barks.
When I was in Vermilion, I stopped for fuel there on my way back. They had...
I can see! I can see! Really? No. But it got some bite to it, though.